People enjoy haunted attractions and watching horror movies, even walkthroughs of haunted house attractions online. So does Hell House LLC bring haunted house horror? Time to find out. Hit the button. Let's get started. Hell House LLC is a found footage movie that is set in documentary form 5 years after the unexplained malfunction of some sort that causes the death of over a dozen customers and employees on opening night. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, the horror host of Generations X, Y, and Z inside Davis Manor, where we find humor and horror, and this is where I share my love of horror and entertainment, where I review TV shows, movies, and I talk about my time in the haunt industry. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and as we answer if Hell House LLC brings haunted house horror to the big screen, go ahead, click the card above. Tell me if you've seen this movie, and go ahead and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the movie as I give a big old shout out to the team of patrons that help me produce these videos. And if voting on future projects and reviews, being rewarded with different types of perks, or getting behind the scenes access sounds exciting, then click on the link above if you enjoy this channel to find out more. And links are in the description and at the end of the video. Hell House LLC opens its story in a narrative frame taking place in 2014, 5 years later after an unknown malfunction. And this narrative frame follows the producer, Diane Graves, catchy last name, and her crew as they investigate what happened. They interview the only people that they can rely on true statements, including a guest that was there during the event, and an author and journalist whom all set the tone for the movie. And setting the tone is right on this one. I can honestly say I am not a fan of found footage films. I just think that they haven't been done properly all the way through the length of the film, at least the ones that I've watched. And the director does a remarkable job of setting the tone of this film with news packages and interviews that are given. But later on in the story, the documentary crew that is the narrative frame gets extra footage by one of the characters, and everything is edited together so you get a complete story. However, I will say this, the writer and director, who is the same person, his name is Stephen Cagnetti? I don't know. I think that's how you say it. He decides things like video glitches that get all blotchy during the edits, and turnaway shots where the actors are going, "What was that?" It gets annoying and redundant very quickly. The extra footage that the documentary crew acquires is from the only surviving member of Hell House staff. Her name is Sarah Havel, and she's played by Ryan Jennifer Jones. She agrees to be interviewed, besides giving the never-before-seen footage, but the footage is mostly footage shot from the members of Hell House themselves arriving to the site from the first day to opening night. And the thought was to document their crew, which is Alex, Andrew, Paul, Sarah, and I think Tony, on showing how they set up the attraction to put up on their website and help promote their haunted attraction. Documenting what it's like to be behind the scenes in the haunt industry? Well, let me pause. For self-promotion, you can go ahead and click the link above and see my entire Scare Actor Q&A playlist and find out what it's like to be on the other side of the scare. But getting back into this film, the found footage part that I'm just talking about, the behind-the-scenes area, is hit and miss for me on this. I enjoyed watching the relationships grow somewhat between the characters, but there is minimal character development in this that the actors portray. And I kind of blame the script with that as well, not just the actors on there. The crew that's there is very stock, and I feel like the actors played it very stock as well. Give an example, Alex, who is the CEO of Hell House LLC, no matter what is happening, they will be up and running opening night. And he felt very much like Mayor Vaughn in Jaws. Just ignoring the dangers of going there because we got to make money. And it just didn't feel natural. And the character Sarah has a few damsel in distress moments that are in the movie, and it just doesn't tug emotionally on there at all. I didn't care what happened. What really got me hooked, acting-wise, was the acting from the author and the journalist and the guest that was there opening night in the first 10 minutes of the film. It's just too bad they don't come back after the first act. The story within the story of this narrative frame is your basic found footage. The Hell House crew is starting to get spooked with different types of paranormal events that are happening. You know, things are moving that shouldn't move, and noises are happening, like a piano that is playing when no one is there. And the base crew of Hell House is not telling the scare actors that they hired what is going on, as Alex is determined that nothing, and I repeat nothing, is going to scare them out of the Abaddon Hotel. the original building that they are building the attraction Hell House on. Side note, the abandoned hotel, the fictitious hotel that is being renovated to become Hell House, is in fact a real haunted attraction in Pennsylvania. It's called The Haunting at the Waldorf Hotel, and it was built on top of an abandoned hotel, much like the concept of this film. And speaking of the abandoned hotel, the term abandoned, as soon as it was said, I knew exactly where everything was going because I've read the Bible and I continue to do so whenever I can. And the term abandoned is a biblical reference. I'm going to get more into that after the rating of this film in a spoiler section. But getting back to the narrative of this film, there is nothing different in this as a narrative goes when it comes to any other average found footage film. And you've got the same thing that happens in every found footage film. You have people reacting to things that you can't see. You just see the reaction of people. And that gets old, and maybe I'll do a video on that. I don't know. There's just no good scares because you can't see what people are getting scared of. And it kind of just felt like the whole film was filmed in confuso-vision. Meaning this, the movie falls into the average scale of the found footage film genre. It doesn't add anything different, but it doesn't remove the basic tropes either. If you enjoy found footage films, then this could be your thing. If you're like me, it's a one and done at best. Otherwise, this is a movie that just can be skipped. And that brings us to the danger zone, where I go ahead and I score the different categories I've been talking about, and I give an overall rating of this film. So I'm going to start off with direction. And the direction, I give a 5. That is called a failure. The writer-director does not bring anything new to the category, but the concept, which I liked, but it was executed poorly, which I did not like, hence the fail. Acting, I gave a 6, below average. I wasn't feeling it when it came to the main cast. In fact, I didn't really feel much about any of the characters. I actually feel like there was too many characters. It would have been better if there was 3 primary characters instead of the 5 that we were following around. They felt like they could have been interchangeable. They were that bland on there. So the actors just did not win me over on that. The interviewees, however, in the beginning of the film, they elevated this film. That was the reason why it got to a 6. As far as the narrative goes, the narrative, I give a 6 as well. The ending of the narrative frame was a disappointment. Huge. And I will go over that in the spoiler section in just a moment. The genre, it's a 7. It's an average found footage film. Like I said, nothing new, nothing taken away. Enjoyment, I give a 6, a below average score on that. I have no reason to watch this film ever again. And that means that the overall rating comes to a 6, below average. Now, on to the spoilers. First, let me talk about the term abandoned, okay, for abandoned hotel. Abandoned in the Bible is the keeper of the bottomless pit. And with a key that's given to him, he opens up the bottomless pit. And that's during the 5th trumpet, which is in Revelation 9:11, catchy number. That made me think, because I've read the Bible and continue whenever I can, that, this hotel is built on the gates of hell. And that is not an original concept at all. We've seen that kind of stuff before. And that means that there's probably a cult that is operating, or maybe just demons. To me, it kind of gave away a little bit of the story. They do explain what Abaddon is in the movie. But getting back to the story, the narrative frame is a huge letdown in this movie. The movie is built as a documentary. This producer, Graves, and her crew is putting this all together to tell us what happened during the event, because everything was hush-hush. So we get to the end of the movie, and the producer's there, and she goes back with the crew to the haunted attraction. Sarah is there, and it's a setup. The cult kills everybody. How did we get the movie? If they're the ones putting this film together, how did the movie get in our hands as an audience? It doesn't make any sense. And what, the cult is going to finish editing and put it out as propaganda? No, they're a cult. They don't want any more people coming around. If so, they're going to kill them. They're trying to do their culty things. So that doesn't make any sense. And I really think that the writer-director, Stephen Cognetti, painted himself into a corner. Because I think he wanted to be like, hey, I want to make sure that Hell House is like a franchise. We want sequels. Maybe make it a trilogy or whatever, right? And we need to continue the story somehow. I don't know where you continue the story with this, but, they want to leave it open for a sequel. And there is a sequel. which I probably will not be watching, because the first one, I'm sorry I got spit on you. Anyways, make sure you hit the bell icon after you subscribe. That way you become part of the notification squad and you get notified the moment that I upload. And I will see you in the next video.